Hi there. Welcome to Pure Soul Alchemy with Gabriella. I'm Gabriella Espinosa, and I'll be taking us through a psychic surgery soul realignment process for the next 30 minutes. So find a nice, comfortable place where you can lay down, relax, and receive this session. Pure Soul Alchemy is a transmission of channeled shamanic healing technologies which restructure your creator source grid. Transformative operations and procedures are enacted for you while you comfortably relax. Through my perception and vocalization of the inner energetic grid, we are opened in ways which allow these technologies to come into our physical reality and enact change on our behalf. Allow your mind to relax into the words and phrases that come through without focusing too much on interpretation or meaning. This session will be available on my Blog Talk Radio show page, on my YouTube channel, and also on my website. It's quite helpful to go back and listen again repeatedly to deepen the effects of the session and take the healing further. If you have any topic ideas for future shows, I'd love to hear them. You can email them to me at gabriella@puresoulalchemy.com. This show is a shamanic healing session to resolve deep feelings of shame. I don't know anyone who hasn't experienced some form of shame or humiliation in their lifetime. And when we experience shame as a child or in puberty, it gets deeply internalized and unfortunately becomes a constant companion in our adult life. Public shaming or ridiculing traumatic experiences create a deep self-consciousness setup that stifles our spontaneous flow. Shame can be operating in the background, barely perceptible to our waking mind, driving and influencing our actions, thoughts, and choices. In our session today, we will be unraveling some of the deeply embedded shame reactivation responses that have overtaken our system. We will heal traumatic shame events from the past and reclaim our unabashed, bold, enthusiastic self. Before listening to the session, be sure to contemplate the ways in which shame operates in your life. We will address these in our session. Allow yourself to notice any feelings or sensations that arise during this session. Allow your mind to watch, witness, notice where you have intense internal responses. And give your higher self and spirit full permission to transform your inner planes of consciousness to what is real, true, and best for your well-being. Now take a few deep, very slow breaths. Slowing down your breathing from the day. As you are deeply breathing, begin feeling into your body. Notice where you feel tension, pain, numbness. Envision your breath reaching these areas, bringing life force and healing vitality there. And allow this breathing rhythm to continue as we go through our session. So we're going to begin by connecting with our divine physical and non-physical intelligence to align completely with our own core essence. Aligning with the fundamental and essential aspects of ourselves. Aligning with the earth, the sun, the moon. With our own Mother, Father, God self. Our own inherent creator self. And our right placement in the universe. The purest healing source within us is our own deepest aspect. We agree to serve as our own healing agent and to serve from and as our own ultimate inner counsel, the all that I am. we now invoke, welcome, and receive our beloved Mother and Father God to exact their loving, divine, blessed grace directly into our healing proceedings today. So I get the healing points for the sessions in advance, and I'm going to just go through in numerical order this time. Sometimes it jumps around, but it's really lighting up to follow the order that was given. So here we go. So we're going to begin with healing point number 1. Healing traumatic life events that we're shaming in any way. Those that we're aware of, those that we remember, those that we don't remember. Mostly because they were so traumatic and intense. So we're doing a generalized across the board clearing of traumatic life events that we're shaming in any way. Healing public and or family of origin shaming, ridicule traumas. This includes siblings, demeaning, or parents even, or any other family members. Great, so we're going down these familial pathways because those that we love the most have the most access. It's like a through line into our deepest self. So that's where we're working right now. Great, yeah, and we also want to clear public shaming or humiliation events, trauma events. School, circle of friends, whatever it was. Healing childhood shaming that was internalized and constellated into a perpetual shutdown existence. So where I perceive a lot of things in my body as well as hear things, and where I'm perceiving this, for me personally, I'm feeling it in the top front of the head. And it's almost like this weight or pressure that's coming down from the top, meaning these were people or situations that we held in high estimation, and perhaps felt that they were more of an authority figure. So that's just my impression of this shaming energy that comes down and collapses the system. So that's where we're working right now. Healing that perpetual shutdown existence in these deepest areas of our being, of our consciousness, of our psyche, of our hearts. Healing any internalized messages that say we are deeply wrong as a person. Who we are is just wrong, unacceptable. Great, so this is landing in the throat region, so let's go ahead and do a clearing there. This may be landing someplace else in your body, and so just know and trust it that we're addressing it where it shows up for you. Because it'll show up in different places for other people. Great. So we're really opening up some congestion held, from my perspective, in the throat region. Great. And there is, it almost feels like electrified, cool energy that kind of forced a collapse of some sort in the throat region. Great. So rewriting our history to a timeline of liberated, free, bold living and expression. Let's clear traumatized expression capacities, injuries due to shame, ridicule, public defamation, experiences. Implementing a healing across the timeline to extract shock frequencies that were set in and considered normal, that are currently considered normal by our systems, by our psyches, our consciousness, and our feeling bodies. Rewriting our history to a timeline of liberated, free, bold expression and living. Confidence reclamation. Great, let's clear a congested backlog of information. It didn't get integrated, or what's the step before integration? You kind of take a look at it and see if it's something I want to take in. So there's a backlog of undigested, unassimilated information, and that which needs to be eliminated, let go of, we'll make sure that happens. So we really want to get all of this sorted out. Great. So now feeling some, it's not cold, it is kind of numb. And this is in the back of the body, primarily like back of the heart area to upper torso area and back. Great. So just working on that numbness piece. Working on dissolving that. That's a coping mechanism. Great. And allowing ourselves to feel it as it is. Bringing in warm, loving acceptance to that area. Great. Allowing the energies that have been stagnated there to move, flow for a continuous, healthy flow living. Healing point number 2, healing shame-based internalized responses that get reactivated and triggered over and over again and again and again. Yeah, these have... This is what I was talking about in the intro, like they become our companion, where we just, it's like we see life through this filter of these shame responses. And they're actually literal recordings from our past. This is how we felt during these shame-based traumatic events. So they get relived over and over and misapplied to situations and people that we encountered. Great. So we're bringing in a freshness into the heart. And this is more the 4.5 chakra, the Ananda Kanda center. The corresponding color is turquoise. Great. Yeah. So we're bringing in fresh flow living into that center. Great. And we're also going to do an infusion of feeling safe. It is safe to feel. It is safe to express fully, deeply, completely. Healing deeply inlaid configurations of being locked in shame-based terror, responses, perceptions, and expressions, fight or flight, defend, attack, or retreat and hide. Or both at the same time. I don't know how that's possible, but that's what I'm hearing for us to clear. Oh, I see. So we retreat deeper into ourselves and as we're fighting. So that's very cunning, but old, and we're letting it go. No longer have to do these little games and tricks to survive and feel safe. Healing the physiology of trapped shame in our bodies. Yeah, we're going to stay there for a bit longer. Healing the physiology of trapped shame in our bodies. Great, and really taking this into every nook and cranny in our being. Healing residual shock immobility automatic reflexes that hijack our system when shame gets triggered. Great, let's also work on this on the nervous system, the peripheral nervous system, every aspect of our nervous system. Great. And so let's also clear on sequences of control type coping strategies, mechanisms that are based in this shock and immobility automatic reflexes that are a reaction to shame when shame gets triggered. All right, so we also want to clear passive anger pathways. Clearing passive anger pathways. And initiating a healthy interior response protocol. Great. Healing point number 3. Healing the pattern of hiding our light in order to avoid being shamed, embarrassed, belittled, condescended to, spoken down to, one-upped, etc. ever again. Okay, so this one goes pretty deep. So healing the pattern of hiding our light to avoid being hurt again in this way. Great. And so right now what I'm seeing is that we're working on the subtle and seemingly invisible manifestations of this, particularly the ways which this plays out where we're completely unaware of it. Great. And let's go ahead and do a clearing of denial and denial of this hiding that we do. Hiding our light that we do, shrinking, camouflage, stealth. Yeah, and let's do a deep healing in the heart region because there's a lot of pain that comes along with that is overlaid, underlaid, encapsulated, you name it. Great, so we're just going to hang out there and clear the shame underneath that. Great. Deconstructing, operating in the periphery sidelines, always being on the outskirts for fear of being completely visible. Fear of being our unabashed selves, expressing 100% what wants to come through us and flow through us. For fear of getting squashed. For fear of other people's reactions or life coming in and telling us that we are inherently wrong as a human being. I mean, it runs really deep. Great. Assisting our being on the deepest level of our being to experience life as welcoming, as thrilled, as adoring of our true being, delighted. Life and all its constructs is delighted to have us here, being 100% our true selves. Dissolving the constructs that contribute to walling off from vitalistic, enthusiastic, unabashed self-expression. So just a side note, we're doing a dissolving process here, and this may bring up some purging in the next week or so. And so just be on the lookout and do some self-care. Dissolving the constructs that contribute or have contributed to walling off, survival mechanisms, and reclaiming our vitalistic, enthusiastic, unabashed, bold self-expression. Great, full reclamation coming through. Invoking, healing point number 4, invoking a divine intervention to reclaim our rightful freedom to always be our truth, solid in our core, as our core, always being honoring of what wants to express through our being, whether it's to ourselves or to other people, or as art, an artistic expression, dance, etc. Great, so really calling forth this divine intervention to come in and assist us to reclaim, to fully claim our rightful freedom, to always be true to ourselves. Allowing a beautiful and perfect death to these old shame trappings so that we can be reborn into our truth. Great, and at this time I want to do a healing for any areas in our being, in our body, that have operated as a form of collapse in order to bear down and bear through life. We all have our places that when we encounter any kind of stress, that will immediately go into a contraction. And those are the areas where I'm bringing this healing into. Allowing these areas to calm, relax, and let go of these coping mechanisms. These semblances of protection. Welcoming the gold of our spirit to shine brightly. Inviting our hearts to release years of shame-based holdings. Now moving freely in the light of who we are. So we're bringing our session to a close now. I'd like to thank you so much for tuning into Pure Soul Alchemy with Gabriella. I highly recommend that you listen to this session repeatedly. It'll be available on my Blog Talk Radio page, my YouTube channel, and on my website. This will deepen the effects of the session and take your healing further with each replay. And if you do happen to have any detox symptoms this next week or two, it's a good idea to play this recording again because it'll help to take off the top, kind of skim off the top some of those detox symptoms. To schedule an individual session and for more info, visit www.puresoulalchemy.com. This is Gabriella Espinosa. Have a wonderful day.